Hello, we are going to focus on process analysis today. Contents are as follows. Okay? Documenting and evaluating the process. Okay? We are going to talk about flow chart, work measurement techniques, process charts. And the second item is data analysis tools. In here, we are talking about bar chart, Pareto chart, cause and effect diagrams, which is called fishbone. Finally, we are going to study redesign and managing process improvement. We will discuss about questioning and brainstorming, benchmarking, implementing. Okay, in documenting and evaluating the process, we can consider flow charts, work measurement techniques, process chart. The flow chart is a diagram that traces the flow of information, customers' equipment, or material through the various steps of a process. We will see the details in the next slides. Service blueprint is a special flow chart of a service process that shows which steps have a high customer contact. This is also a flow chart. Let me explain swim lane flow chart. Okay, this is a visual representation that groups functional areas responsible for different sub-processes into lanes. We have several lanes in here. Okay, they are all concatenated and connected in situation. Okay, so this is a visual representation. Okay, that groups functional areas responsible for different sub-processes. In each lane, there are different sub-processes. Okay, so this flow chart is called swim lane flow chart. Okay, there is a case study. Okay, create flow chart for the following telephone ordering process at a retail chain that specializes in selling books and music CDs. Okay, it provides an ordering system via the telephone. The automated system greets customers, asks them to choose a tone or false phones. The system checks to see whether customers have an existing account. Okay, they can wait for the system representative to open a new account. Customers choose between order options and are routed accordingly. Okay, customers can cancel the order. Finally, the system asks whether the customer has additional requests. If not, the process terminates. So, we can draw this process flow chart. Okay, you need to note the meaning of the legend. Okay, the green rectangle represents system company action. Okay, another rectangle represents customer action. Okay, this symbol represents customer decisions. Okay, also this symbol, this oval represents end calls. So based on the symbols, we can draw a process flow chart, as you can see. Okay, we can start with automated system greeting. Then the tone phone the no and yes. Okay, if tone phone is yes, we can proceed to new account. Okay, if it is yes, we can go to wait for CSR. Okay, and if it is no, we can go to request type. Okay, CSR represents stands for customer service representatives. Okay, so we can see the rest of the flow chart in here. Okay, this is one example, and we can move on to work measurement techniques. So we can consider so famous time studies. Okay, element standard data approach. Okay, also predetermined data approach. Both of them are considered as a database approach. Okay, and the next one is work sampling method. Okay, the final approach is learning curve analysis. These are work measurement techniques. Okay, in time study, we are doing some experiment actually. Okay, we are measuring the working times manually. So next tools are database approaches. So they are pre-made actually. Okay, and work sampling methods is about measuring the proportion of the time spent by the employees or machines. Okay, we will see the details in the next slide. Okay, the last one is learning curve analysis. Okay, so we will see more details. This is the example of the time study. A process at a car service center has been changed. The process is divided into 3 work elements. A time study has been performed with the following results. The time standard for process previously was 14.5 minutes. Based on the new time study, should the time standard be revised? We will answer the question. Okay. The new time study had an initial sample of 4 observations, with the results shown in the following table. The performance rating factor is shown for each element. Okay, and the allowance for the whole process is 18% of the total normal time. This performance rating is about the allowance time for the whole process. Okay, so the RF is 18%. Okay, so in this table we are going to use the rating factor. Okay, for each element we have 4 observations. We calculate the averages. Okay, we reflect RF in here, which means we are going to multiply the averages by the RF. And then finally we will calculate the normal times in here. Okay, the RF is considering for the allowance time for the whole process. Okay, so the normal time for an element in the table is its average time multiplied by the RF. Total normal time for the whole process is the sum of the normal times for the 3 elements, or 10.01 minutes. To get the standard time for the process, just add in the allowance, or we can calculate this one. Okay? So, finally, we are also multiplying this RF factor. Then we can calculate this time. So, the answer is yes. Change the time standard from 14.5 minutes to 11.82 minutes. Okay, this is the final answer. Let's move on to work sampling. So, as I told you, we are considering the proportion of the time spent by the machines or employees. So, this is the example. On Monday, the times busy 6 times idle 1, okay? And on Tuesday, times busy 5 times idle 2. So we have 7 observations in here. On Tuesday, we also 7 observations here, okay? Then finally, we can calculate the proportion of idle times in here. Okay? So, given the confidence level and the precision, we can derive the total observations required in here. Okay? So, in here, we just consider the 42 observations. That's not good enough to ensure this confidence level and this precision level. Okay, finally in this chart, actually we can see the desirable total observations required to ensure this confidence level and the precision level. Okay, this is an example of work sampling. Let's talk about learning curves. As the cumulative units produced increase, we can observe that the labor hours per unit decrease, as you can see. Okay? This is the basic concept of learning curves. Okay? So, we can measure the labor hours and the cumulative units produced. We can provide this learning curve. Okay. Let's move on to process charts. Okay. Process charts, an organized way of documenting all the activities performed by a person or group at a workstation with a customer or working with certain materials. So, activities are typically organized into 5 categories. Okay? Operation is represented by symbol circle. Transportation is denoted by this arrow. Inspection is denoted by this square. Delay is denoted by this half circle. Storage is represented by this reverse triangle. Okay? This is one example. An automobile service is having difficulty providing oil changes in the 29 minutes or less mentioned in its advertising. You are to analyze the process of changing automobile engine oil. The subject of the study is the study mechanic. The process begins when the mechanic directs the customer's arrival and ends when the customer pays for the services. The times add up to 28 minutes, which does not allow much room for error if the 29-minute guarantee is to be met and the mechanic travels a total of 420 feet. Okay, this is the explanation about this problem. Okay, so we can make this table first. Okay, for the each process, okay, we can decide the symbol, okay, and we need to put some descriptions in here. Okay, direct customer into service phase. In the next process, record name and desired service. Okay, this is denoted by circle. Okay, this is denoted by an arrow. Okay, the third process, in the third process, open hood, verify engine type, inspect horses, check fluids. Okay, this is denoted by square, a square, right? And finally, we can get summaries, as you can see. Okay, so for operations, okay, denoted by a circle, the number of steps 7, the total time is 16.50 minutes. Okay, no distance here. Okay, transport is denoted by this arrow, the number of steps 8. The total time is 5.50. Transportation distance is 420 feet. Okay. In this way, we can develop the process flow chart. Okay. The next question, what improvement can you make in the process shown in solved problem 2? Okay, from the process chart, we can derive some improvement. Okay, so this is the example. Move step 17 to step 21. Customers should not have to wait while the mechanic cleans the work area. Store small inventories of frequently used filters in the pit. Steps 7 and 10 involve travel to and from the storeroom. This is the second improvement. The third improvement is to use two mechanics. Steps 10, 12, 15, and 17 involve running up and down the steps to the pit. Much of this travel could be eliminated. Also, we need to calculate the annual cost of an entire process. Okay? It is the product of time in hours to perform the process each time. Variable costs per hour. Number of times the process is performed each year. So, this is the formula. In order to calculate the annual labor cost, we can use this formula. There is an example. If the average time to serve a customer is 4 hours, the variable cost is $25 per hour. 40 customers are served per year. The total labor cost is 4 times 25 times 40. Finally, you will get $4,000. Next, we consider data analysis tools. There are several tools in here. Checklists. This is just frequencies. Okay? And histograms and bar charts, Pareto chart, scatter diagrams. Scatter diagrams is just X, Y. We can see some observations in the 2 dimension, right? So this is called scatter diagrams. Okay? And cause and effect diagrams, fishbone. We will see more details in the next slides. and graphs. We will explain more for Pareto charts in the next slides too. This is the one example. The manager of a neighborhood restaurant is concerned about the smaller numbers of customers patronizing his eatery. Complaints have been rising, and he would like to find out what issues to address and present the findings in a way his employees can understand. The manager surveyed his customers over several weeks and collected the following data. Okay, this is an example of checklists. Okay, as I mentioned before, this table shows frequencies in here. Okay, so there are different types of complaints and frequencies corresponding to the complaints. Okay, so I like to tell you this point. In this textbook, I adapted some examples or case studies in order to focus service sector processes. Okay, so I like to point out this. Okay, we can draw this bar chart. Okay, for each complaint, we can show the frequency. Okay, this is one example of a Pareto chart. Okay, so x-axis represents the types of complaints, y-axis represents the frequencies of failures, right? And then, as you can see in this point, we can calculate the cumulative proportions in here. Okay, cumulative proportion, right? So in the denominator, you can see that the total number of observations. Okay, and also in the numerator, you can see the cumulative frequencies. This is the proportion of cumulative frequencies. Okay, so this is the meaning of Pareto chart. Also, to the rightmost, you can consider percent of total. I put R codes in bar chart and Pareto chart. So I strongly recommend you to run these codes in your R console. Okay, otherwise you cannot run R programming very well. Okay, so even if I briefly introduced R programming basics to you, you need to practice all of them on your own. Okay, so just copy the codes and run them in your R. This is one example of cause and effect diagrams, which is called fishbone diagram. Okay, I'm sorry to put this manufacturing example, but this is the problem in this situation. Inadequate header production. So there may be several reasons to cause this problem. So we put the possible reasons and causes in here. Okay, and we put more details. Okay, manpower, for the manpower, we put the more details in here. For the method, we put the more possible details in here. So this is one example of the fishbone diagram, cause and effect diagrams. Let's talk about redesigning and managing process improvements, questioning and brainstorming, and benchmarking and implementing. Okay. In questioning and brainstorming, ideas can be uncovered by asking 6 questions. The first question is, what is being done? The next question is, when is it being done? Okay? Who is doing it? Where is it being done? How is it being done? How well does it do on the various metrics of importance? Okay? Throughout this questioning, we can get some ideas. Okay? So, this is important. Okay? What about benchmarking? The definition of benchmarking is a systematic procedure that measures a firm's processes, services, and products against those of industry leaders. I like to emphasize this point: systematic procedure that measures a firm's processes, services, and products. This is the main point, okay, against those of industry leaders, okay? So that's why we are considering benchmarking, right? So we are learning from industry leaders, okay? Implementing. So we need to avoid the following 7 mistakes, okay? The first, not connecting with the strategic issues. Secondly, not involving the right people in the right way. Okay. Third, not giving the design teams and process analysts a clear charter and then holding them accountable. Next, not being satisfied unless fundamental re-engineering changes are made. The next is not considering the impact on people, not giving attention to implementation, and not creating an infrastructure for continuous process improvement. Those are the pointers. Avoid the following 7 mistakes. Okay? So that's it for today. Today, we studied and learned about process analysis. Next time, we will cover control chart and Six Sigma methodologies. Thank you for your time. See you next time. Bye-bye.